Welcome back to Advocation X, and your host, Clyde, here for you. Do me a favor, folks. I have quite a topic coming up today, but I want you to hit that like button. Costs you nothing. Subscribe. Costs you nothing. Okay? And again, for those of you who continue to subscribe, I love you all. I'm not looking to become a million members tomorrow, but you know what? It is nice to see that some of you really appreciate the time and effort that goes in to trying to keep you informed, trying to keep you on the side of my beautiful thinking people, trying to make it so that you never give up and you never give in, but you'll always keep an open mind and you will never bar information that can enrich you and move you further along in this life. I listen to some news outlets that would make you cringe. And I don't listen to them because I agree with everything they say. I listen to them because I want to hear their perspective. I want to know, do they have any real concrete evidence that I can use to help shape my own opinion? There are others that are my favorites because they seem to align with my beliefs and thoughts much more often than not. But that will never stop me from listening to everyone else that I possibly can. Thousands of hours of research I've been doing, mainly in interviews, YouTube videos that give descriptive information and evidence, and these all help me to make my concrete decisions and help me to follow my conviction. I have a crazy topic for you today, but before I do, please hit that like button, okay, and subscribe. Start your YouTube presence if you haven't already. Share my videos. Help us reach more people. There are topics I reach that are very important for people to get perspective on, and they can't get it unless you share. I don't care what platform it's on, share. I will do my best not to give any information that will cause a strike on here. I will do my best. I can't guarantee. Sometimes passion overtakes me, and I start to get to that point where I'm just no holds barred, and everything just comes out. Most times I will try to stay measured, and I will try my best to give you that information up front. Let me start this topic. This topic is the current state of our markets. That's right, our capital investment markets that have been known to make millionaires and billionaires and turn many into paupers. When I started on this journey, I always heard that 95% of those invested in the stock market lose money. At the time I had been in the market for about 4 months, somebody had said to me, "Have you lost a bunch of money yet?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, you're not in the market until you have lost a lot of money. That will really teach you lessons." I was like, "Well, I'm not looking to lose any money." And guess what? They were right. Because that time comes for all of us. Our decisions are not always sound. And that's in life as well as in the markets. But let me try to give you a little bit of a scenario that you need to keep in the front of your mind while you're investing. I have noticed over the time that I've been in the markets that everything is cyclical. It's almost as if the same amount of money is flowing around the market, but it just changes hands. And most of it ends up in the hands of the huge hedge funds and corporations that are out there who benefit greatly from everybody putting their paychecks into their investment strategy. Now, some of you will say, "Yeah, but I don't invest directly. I just give it to this investment guy and he does it for me." He's only as good as the experience he's acquired. And I'm not saying to put your money in me. Oh, by the way, anybody who solicits any kind of participation in anything is definitely not me. Anybody who asks for your contact information or gives contact information for you to reach out to them, it's not me. Okay? Just want to get that out. Second of all, I'm not your financial advisor. I have to let you know that. Everything I tell you is just my opinion based on my own experiences, has nothing to do with any university education or credentials given to me by the government that say I'm qualified to give you advice. All I can say is this: if you're one of my beautiful thinking people, then you're a friend of mine. If you're a friend of mine, I am qualified to give you my advice based on what I've learned. And that's all I do in these videos, okay? So, here's where it begins. You work hard, you put your money in there, you're hoping to build yourself a little bit of retirement, or even maybe you're hoping to get rich. And it is possible. Don't get me wrong, it is possible. But remember, it's only 5% that seem to be benefiting from this entire program. So, you happen to find a way to invest in a crypto stock that hasn't yet hit the big leagues. You buy it for fractions upon fractions of a penny, and it hits the mainstream, and you now are a millionaire overnight. I want you to look at how many of those cryptocurrencies actually skyrocket to the mainstream. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. You're going to have to invest a whole lot of fractions in a whole lot of places before you actually find one that throws you over the edge. And I mean the good edge, not the proverbial fall off the cliff edge. So that being the case, do you think it's any different with regular stocks, ETFs? Not much different. You're probably a little safer in an ETF because somebody is really working hard to put those things together and make them work. Gives you no guarantees. None whatsoever. But if you're investing in an individual stock, let me tell you a little story about investing in an individual stock. I start a company. I become incorporated. I build that company. It's doing very well. I'm at a point where now I need to progress to the next level. And I can't do it on the revenues that I'm making at this point. So what do? I look at becoming a listed company. So I start at the bottom in an OTC market or something like that. And I'm moving along, doing okay. We got a little bit of investment. I made it to the next level. I realize there's a path forward. This is a real product in demand. Now I want to go to the big leagues. So let's say maybe I reverse split my shares. I become big enough that all of a sudden I can look at one of the big indices. I get listed. Guess what happens? You just put your money in me because you believe in me, don't you? And so many other people have believed in me and they put their money in me. They bought my shares. And I'm in the big leagues now, and they are expecting that this is going to be a huge boost. We're all going to go to the moon. And guess what we're not looking at? Lurking in the deep, dark shadows, there's what we call institutional investors, hedge funds, and market makers. And what do? You know what? We can make a whole lot of money on this guy. Look at the interest that's going in. Okay, it's on the way up. So, let's short sell this guy. Huge! They're betting against me. They're not betting against the fact that my idea is not going to catch on. They're not betting against the fact that I'm not a well-managed company. They're not betting against anything other than me. And not me personally. They don't care who I am. They probably haven't even looked at me. Except to see, okay, what's the chances of this guy going forward without our interference? Okay, he's got maybe a 50-50 chance. So with our interference, we can bring him down to 0. And that's what they do. They start publishing, not directly because that would be a crime, but they have these outlets that they keep funding, whether it be with advertising or whatever, who will go out for them and do an absolute smear campaign against my company. They effectively will crush my company. And that means they're crushing everything you put into my company. Not because I'm a bad company, not because I'm a bad actor, not because I'm doing something nefarious, just because they can. And they're going to make huge money in the process. Why? Because they shorted the stock. That means they borrowed the stock at a nice low rate, or a decent rate, wherever it was at, and they sold all that stock. Now they're waiting for it to go right down to 0 because they never have to pay it back. They don't have to pay it back because the company becomes bankrupt and it no longer exists. Folks, realize you're up against a real formidable enemy. And they're not an enemy for any other reason other than for money. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about the economy. They don't care about anything other than making money for themselves. Why? Because then they look more attractive, more people put more money into them, they can pay themselves bigger salaries, and it just keeps the vicious cycle working. Be careful what you put your money into. Now, it also hurts me if you buy in when I first IPO and I go up 25% and you sell. Because when everybody starts to sell, down comes the price, and it's on an automatic regression of its own. Then these guys inject their FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, doubt, their lies, outright lies, which I've heard many, slamming many companies out there. And again, I'm not pointing fingers at any one individual, because again, like Keenan Grace will say, ain't nobody trying to get sued, right? Just my opinion. Just putting it out there. Putting out the facts. I don't have the receipts though, because in order for me to have the receipts, I have to be naming people. So I'm telling you, this is widespread. I don't have to name anybody. All you have to do is pick a stock, look at its history, read the indicators yourself. And you'll see almost every company that I've invested in to learn all this, this is their graph. And then maybe you get another. What is that all about? If it's a good company and we're investing for the long term, we're helping this company move forward, how does it keep jumping like that? Well, here's a little schematic for you. My company's doing okay. There's no shares left. We've all bought them. We're doing really well. We're moving forward. We're investing in ourselves. So our cash flow is short, because we're taking the cash we can leverage and we're growing the company by either more facilities or more product. Okay? We've hired more sales force, so we have more business going on. What do then? They can and do and will continue to until we change this. They create synthetic shares. Now, it's not entirely what you think. They borrow shares that they haven't yet found. Because in their jargon, in their legalese, if I'm a big moneymaker, I can hedge your bet. You say, I want to buy 1 million shares of Clyde's company and I want to short them. I say, go ahead, I'll find those shares for you. I don't have the shares. I'm telling you I'm going to find them. So you go ahead and you sell these fake shares, waiting for my company to go down so that you can then buy back the shares cheap and give them back to me. But guess what? I can't find the shares. Who cares? I'll find them eventually. Okay, next guy comes in. I want to borrow 1 million shares of Clyde's company and I want to short it. Okay, I'm charging you interest, remember, on shares that don't even exist yet. Charging you interest. You've sold those shares, synthetic shares, but created in a roundabout kind of way, and now I can't find those shares either. Why? Because everybody else has bought all those shares. So I just rinse and repeat. I just keep the cycle going, because I'm expecting that eventually all these people are going to sell their shares. I'll buy them all really cheap, and then I can pay back all the borrowed shares. Oh, my Lord. What happens when you don't let go of those shares? When you don't give in to the FUD, when you do your work, your due diligence, and you see, wait a second, the fundamentals haven't changed in Clyde's company, why am I going to sell? He's doing exactly what he was doing before that made him successful. Why am I going to sell? The demand for his products are still growing. Why am I going to sell? You'd be very disappointed right now because the curve is going down. Well, there's a few reasons for that. And again, remember, short sellers, some of these big guys that have chosen to short sell ARK Invest because they don't believe in the future. Well, ARK Invest knows the future is unstoppable. There is nothing else in this world that's inevitable other than change and death. So, Cathie Wood's bet on change, but that change is going to come over a period of 5 years. But at the end of the 5 years, the compound growth in these stocks should be immense. It should be another record win for ARK Invest and Cathie Wood. I believe by looking at her strategies and looking at her investments and looking at the way she's managing her funds, I believe she's right when she says compounded over the 5 years, 40%. That's almost unheard of, guys. I think the record she held before was like 37%. Again, I may be wrong. Nobody's trying to get sued. I'm just telling you, I believe in what she's saying. The research I've done shows that what she's saying is inevitable. When you have the convergence of all these technologies coming to work together, okay? So just imagine, you have a company, you're building a product, you have machinery, you have logistics, you have offices, you have all these different things going on. And this company over here has found a way to get into your company data and make your logistics 20% more efficient, therefore 20% more profitable for you. Are you going to say, no, I don't want to gain 20%? No, you know what? Eventually you look at it and you go, but the stock's going down. I'm not going to use them. The stock's still going, no, I'm not going to use them. But wait a second, I'm going to do some deeper research. Why is this stock going down when they're promising to increase? Oh, look at all these companies I know of that are using this and their profits are going up. Why is the company going down? Something fishy here. I'm going to invest. When that happens, when that aha moment happens, the light bulb flashes in the brains of these different companies, etc. The investments start to flow in, and the growth will be exponential. It will be orders of magnitude. That's what Cathie is banking on. So you've just improved your profit margin on logistics by 20%. Now you have somebody who's able to integrate your entire office and head office and bring everybody on board where they're getting information instantaneously. You've just made your place 25% more efficient in your head office. Now we know head office doesn't actually create revenue. It consumes your revenue. So now what happens? Your capital expenditures are going down. Why? Because you're more efficient. You're getting more done with the time that you have allotted. That translates to profits because you're not putting that out. So if your profits grow in that regard, this is what we call the convergence of these different technologies. Now, you have this from the logistics, you have this from the office space. Oh, and you said you have a production facility, correct? We have another technology that you can get into that's going to increase your productivity by 35-40% in your production facilities. Nah, I don't want to save 30-40%. Are you crazy? I like the way I'm doing things now. No, you're not stupid. You're going to eventually get that assistance that you need and see how much you can save. Let's say you only save 25% so far. Remember, you're one company now who's just saved 25% or 20% here, 25% here, 25% here. And these are only 3 of the technologies that are converging. You've got robotics going now, you have your head office, you have logistics operating at a nice efficiency. They haven't finished yet. They get better over time, they continue to improve because the technology from these companies continues to improve. You're winning. How about genomics? How does that affect my company? Who cares about genomics? Well, let me tell you how it affects your company. If you're not losing valued employees to cancers and other different diseases because genomics technology is helping to keep them on the floor doing their job. You're saving money. You're making money. Your top performers are still on the job rather than sitting under chemotherapy. Folks, understand the vision of Kathy Wood. It is the amalgamation of technologies that are going to grow certain companies, those that are on the cutting edge that realize what they're missing, are going to skyrocket. Yes, like SpaceX. We're trying to get sued, right? That's my opinion. SpaceX is soaring. If your company can do the same thing, wouldn't you be a fool not to partake? That's what it's going to end up being. Those that have the brain and the eyes to see will adopt these technologies and grow exponentially. Anyways, there's my crash course on the overall markets and what's been going on. Are we in a recession? Maybe we can say that. Is inflation all to blame? No, they're not. Is this super bad cold illness all to blame? No, it's not. There's a combination of many factors that are causing the market to do these little hiccups and jitters and even go to sleep for a little while. I don't believe it's a recession. Why? Because all these products are still being produced. Supply chain issues are slowing people down. But guess what? That means they're saving money. And they're saving money now. Once those supply chain issues are solved, they're going to have a boatload of money to spend. And what do you think happens to the markets then? It's a recession. How about when the super bad cold illness is no longer a fear on the front of everybody's mind? And everybody starts going out again and enjoying themselves. Buying products, going to the beach, going to the lake, buying a boat. The economy is going to jump forward in leaps and bounds. And the more confidence everything has, the higher it's going to jump. So is it a recession? You can say that. Recessions are kind of backward leaning, aren't they? But don't be afraid of the words. Do your due diligence. Take a look at the reality of what's happening around you and take advantage of it. Let's make some money. And remember, folks, we don't give up and we don't give in. But we keep an open mind because knowledge is our power. And that's how we gather our power. Right here. Be one of my beautiful thinking people. Like this video. Subscribe. Share. Come on board with us. Let's move forward into the future with confidence and determination. And remember, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and beyond all else, stay as happy as humanly possible with compassion, understanding, and love.